Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us. We are brought to you by Russell & Associates, coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. Here again to talk with head coach Brian Bergstrom from the Warrior football team. First of all, congratulations on the win this weekend.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, and again, before I ask any questions, your initial thoughts on what happened at Maxwell Field this week.
Well, I thought for the first part of the day, I was a little worried about the lightning,
Yeah.
and it certainly stormed pretty good in the morning. And really, the game was only delayed a half hour, and our guys did a great job of just adjusting the schedule, moving it back. I'm glad we were up in our main locker room so they could spread out and be comfortable. And surprisingly, the game day experience was still very busy and packed, and our biggest game day experience we've ever had in terms of amount of vendors and great crowd. And then once the game started, the weather was good, and the good vibes kept going during the game. So it was a good team win.
Yeah, I know it was an estimate of over 3,000 fans at the stadium, and kind of looking around, it was packed. So I think that's a pretty good estimate. Let's talk about the game and how it first started out, because I know I was surprised to see that they put in Vespo, number 11, at quarterback for Northern State. Colton Hackle had been such a big part of their offense, both passing and running. Did you have any inkling that change was going to happen, or was that a surprise to you too?
Well, we didn't know it was going to happen because there was an injury earlier in the year why he stopped playing and then had gotten replaced. And we had seen him on the sidelines the game before and was warming up. And like on film, we had seen that. So we knew he was somewhat okay, but we didn't know what they were going to do. And they ended up playing both of them in spurts. So they didn't really change that much based off which quarterback was in. So at the end of the day, we just had to beat whoever was out there.
Okay. At the start, it was kind of the same type of start against Bemidji, where you get a field goal to get the scoring started, and then they respond with a field goal. You get a touchdown to make it 10-3. At that point, did you feel like the game was kind of in control for Winona State?
Not quite yet. I think later in the game, you felt more comfortable. I never really feel comfortable till it's over, so I may be a bad one to ask. I think once we got into a rhythm and got up a couple scores in the second half, you certainly, you don't feel like the game's over, but you feel like you're in more of a position of power, and you can control the clock, and you can do things to try and squeeze the rest of the clock out of the game at that point. But we knew that they were an explosive team both ways. They could create turnovers, and they could score a bunch of points. And they've been able to do that on a lot of people. And it's a team we haven't had much success the last couple of years. So our guys and our staff were very hungry to get back at them after last year.
From our perspective, it seemed like more of a complete game from Winona State, because the defense was there. You end up capitalizing a little bit on the fact that they had that kick return that was muffed. You get the safety. You didn't get any points after that, but the next drive is when Karon Hendred ran 61 yards for the touchdown. So in your mind, was this more of a complete game for your team?
Oh yeah, 100%. It was better in terms of playing complementary football. And we talked about that last week, and that's how you build momentum, is when you can stack plays from special teams to O or D, and we did a much better job of that. And we still missed a bunch of opportunities, specifically when our offense had some big scores, and then the defense would give up a big play right after. And we can't have that, especially as we continue to progress, because everybody gets better as the year goes on, and we can't make those mistakes.
All right. Cole Stenstrom looked a little bit more comfortable. Had a big game, his biggest as a Warrior. He'll be the guest later on, so you get your first chance here to talk about him, and then we'll hear from him a little bit later. But how did you feel about his play this week?
Well, I think he's gotten better every game. And like you had mentioned, he's come a long way in 4 weeks. And part of it's the system, and part of it's the guys around him, and part of it's just playing. This is his fourth game playing as a starting quarterback. But amazing person, leader, student of the game. I mean, he's like a coach. I mean, he's in there watching film all the time and asking questions, and he cares, and is good at rallying the troops. The guys believe in him, and we are fortunate to have a number of good options at quarterback. Like, God forbid something happened to one of them, we feel good about that room. And it certainly says a lot that we feel like he's our best shot right now.
Well, it almost happened during the game because he had that one designed run that he got shaken up a little bit, had to come off for one play, but then was able to come back right away. When you see something like that happen, what goes through your mind as head coach?
Well, you first think of the individual, and you hope for his own sake, take football out of it, that he's okay. And I had a pretty good idea because he had kind of dinged up his leg the week before, but it was the same thing. And I'm glad it wasn't serious, and he'll be good to go again.
All right, very good. Let's talk about the running game because we talked about Kieran Hendred and he had the big run. But between him and Ty Gavin, they combined for 186 yards on the ground. Your thoughts on the running game?
Well, that's a credit certainly to them and the plan, but also a credit to the offensive line.
Absolutely.
Just standing and watching it was impressive because I usually have a view where I'm either way in front of or way behind the line of scrimmage. And there was some giant size holes to run through, and that's where it starts. And no doubt about it, those guys ran the ball hard too and made smart cuts and took care of the football. I know it was on the ground a couple times, but none of them were from the running backs. So ball security is important.
Yes. I know that Cam Keller, who's our color commentator and former coach, was talking a lot about the run game and how you have two different styles. He said Kieran is a guy that wants to accelerate right away and get right to the line, bust through. Ty is a little bit more deliberate, waiting for a play to develop, waiting for the blocks to develop, following those to get his yards. What's it like to have those two options at running back?
Well, you love that. You love it because you feel comfortable, two guys you can put in the game and kind of minimize some of the hits that each one of them take, and they're more fresh. But then when they do have different styles, that can be harder on the defense because they're, they don't get used to defending one type of back, and the other guys in the room have their individual styles too, like a Noah Carlson and Quentin Pringle, who will be back from an injury soon, and Josh Burai. Like they all have their flavor, so to speak, and when you're able to mix that together, it can be harder on a defense.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the defense. Clay Scheffner and Tristan Root both had really good games on defense. How do you feel the defense played overall?
Well, it was probably our most complete defensive game. And this week, our player of the game for defense is the defense because we didn't feel like it was just one person that stood out, nor is it ever. You just sometimes honor those people with the player of the week. But this one was from the front in our defensive line to the linebackers to the DBs. Felt like it was our best job of playing together. And certainly Clay and Tristan Root stood out for the number of tackles that they had, and they're just around the football a lot. But defensive line was 6 sacks, and that gives offenses a problem when we can be that active. So it was a good day. And
not only was it 6 sacks for the defense, but 6 different players got involved. I know Trey Borski, Kyle Borski had a sack and a half, and Nate Wilcher had a half a sack, and then 5 other players got sacks for the. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, if you can't pinpoint one guy you got to stop as an offense when you're looking at a rush, that makes it way harder because you're trying to stop everybody, and you get a lot of one-on-one matchups then. And for us, a lot of times we understand that I may have gotten a sack, but that sack was created by my teammate on the other side who had a great rush and flushed the quarterback my way. So it's a team game, and stats are exciting, but what's more exciting is winning the game.
All right, and we have to ask a little bit. I know that both sides kind of got banged up with injuries. Maybe the most major one for you we saw was Arian Lacey. Do you have any idea of how serious that injury was? We don't yet. He's seeing our team doctor today. Okay. We just, on Saturday, just knew he couldn't go back in the game. And we don't know where it's at right now. And hopefully we'll find more out, early to middle of this week how much he's going to be able to do for us this week. Yeah, and obviously he's a big part of both defense and special teams. Very explosive on special teams, but the way that you were able to replace him with Noah Carlson running some back, Sylvair Campbell running some back, you didn't miss a beat, really. So that's a credit to the players that are on the field, right?
Right. It's football, as much as you hate to see it, is a next man up game, and that's why depth is so important. So you try to avoid it, and you feel for those that are battling an injury, but we all signed up knowing that it was a contact sport and it might happen. You just pray it doesn't, and when it does, you got to be ready for it, and you can't feel sorry for yourself. You got to move on, and then when the guy does get injured, they got to be a great, while they're rehabbing and stuff coming back, they got to be a great coach and encourager to those that have replaced them.
All right, last question. Big game coming up on the road this weekend. In fact, you have 2 games now on the road before you come back home for homecoming. But first up is Minnesota Duluth, and a huge game. How do you feel you match up against the Bulldogs?
We're excited. It's going to be a game of physicality. We know that UMD is a good football team, and they're 4-0 for a reason, and it's a tough place to play. And we're a good football team, and we're a physical football team, and we'll go play anybody, anywhere, anytime, and on the road or at home. And but we know that on offense, we got to do a better job finishing. Defense, we got to do a better job limiting explosive plays. Special teams, we got to win. It can't be a tie, it can't be a push. We got to win on special teams. And then overall, we have to be the more physical team on the field. If we can do those things, it'll be a fun day on Saturday.
All right, that's a lot there. Is there anything in particular that you key in on practice for this week?
Physicality. We're going to do it in a smart way, but we're gonna have a lot of good on good, which is what we call when we put our top offense, top defense, second defense going against each other. Even though the schemes may not be the exact same, we're going to do that. We did that a lot last week. We'll do it again this week, in addition to our scout teams. But we're gonna practice in a controlled and safe way, prepping to be the more physical team on Saturday.
All right, well, I appreciate the time, and good luck against Minnesota Duluth.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, Caleb Skelly will join us right after this.
For over 60 years, Russell & Associates has been helping individual and business clients achieve what matters to them. Our trusted advisors have the expertise and experience to help with long-term plans for personal finance, business finance, or wealth management. Focus on what matters most. Call Russell & Associates certified public accountants and advisors today at 507-452-3100 or visit us online at russellcpafirm.com.
The Command IQ app helps me manage the Wi-Fi in every room of the house however I want. Like this room, where my wife talks to her friends in her book club every week. She's my best friend.
Okay, but
Time out. Have you seen the abs on the latest Bachelor? My husband used to have abs, but now he just has flabs.
I don't know. Now, he says he works out, but I think...
It's not a book club meeting, it's a make fun of me meeting. Well, what happens in book club doesn't always stay in book club. So?
Oh. Darla? Honey, my Wi-Fi is down. That never happens.
Well, that's strange. Well, we'll see if we can get someone to come fix it next month.
Okay, but what am I supposed to do about book club?
I don't know. Maybe read a book? Command IQ, you're my new best friend.
Meet Jenny Siseski of Edina Realty. With nearly 30 years' experience, she knows that right now is the best time to sell your home. Jenny will help you get top dollar, higher than ever before. With today's low interest rates, it's time to upgrade your home and increase its value. High demand and low inventory also make this a perfect time to list your home. Call for a free market analysis. Contact Jenny Siseski at Edina Realty today, 507-458-7038.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We are brought to you by Russell & Associates, coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. Caleb Skelly now joins us. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's talk about your early days, Spring Lake Park up near Blaine. I know that area well with the Super Rink. I've been there many times. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in football.
Yeah, obviously I've got 3 brothers, so that's obviously a big part of my football early stages. So we played football out in the yard, tackle, two-hand touch, everything, and then just playing catch with my grandpa out in the yard too. I think that attributes to how I got my hands. So, and then just tackle football from second grade to where I am now. So
always been a football guy then. No other sport ever entered your mind?
I did play basketball as well. Tried out track for a little while, but basketball and football were definitely my two favorites.
Okay, so you decide after a great career, I think you had 3 conference championships at Spring Lake Park, you decide to go to Northern State. What was that decision? Was there anybody else kind of after you?
Yeah, the coaches there did a great job recruiting, and the new stadium and new facilities were obviously a big, they definitely caught my eye. And so Coach Frichty was there right away, and he was the one who really sold me the most. And I really loved playing for him, so that's why I went there.
Okay, so then for this week, playing Northern State was a little bit sweeter to get the victory against them?
Yeah, that one felt good. And then we owed Frichty one too, since because of what happened last year. So
yeah, kind of a shootout last year, and actually the last couple times it was a shootout. All right, so at Northern State, you decide to make a change and come here. Because Isaac Frichty came here, was that kind of what led you to Winona State, or did you have any other reason to come here?
Yeah, that played a major role, and then Coach Berge as well, and just the culture of this team that they've created here is something that I really liked. The area is just beautiful. It's a lot better playing with bluffs and stuff in the background, and lakes and everything you can imagine, instead of just cornfields and tumbleweeds. So
yeah, I understand that. So what is it about the Winona State program in particular that kind of led you here? Is it scheme-wise, or is it the coaching, like you said, with Coach Bergstrom and Coach Frichty?
Yeah, I know I'm sure Coach Berge has mentioned this before, but he's a man of faith, and that's something that I really value as well. So just being able to live that out and having Coach Berge just kind of be a mentor for that is also a major reason. And then Coach Frichty's offense is just a blast to play for, and he knows how to use his players well. So.
All right. Well, it's kind of a retooling all around, bringing you in at wide receiver, and then Cole Stenstrom in his first year at quarterback here. So what were you able to do with Cole this offseason to kind of get ready and kind of understand what this new Winona State offense was going to be like?
Yeah, so when Cole came in, he came in at the same time as I did, and he just kind of expected the most from all the guys that were going to catch the ball from him. So we met every day, rain, snow, on the field, like whatever. We were just going to catch balls, try to get the timing down, and Cole's out there every day just grinding. So it's a major part of how we're going to get the timing down for this year.
All right. So, well, I mean, we hear all the time about the work ethic that Cole has, but he's got to have somebody to throw to, so it's got to be you too.
Yep.
So what is it about the sport, what is it about trying to get ready for the season that brings all of you out to practice as much as you have?
Yeah. I think we got to, for the guys that were here last year, they got a taste of what it feels like to win, and they weren't satisfied enough with just getting to the playoffs. Now that's the standard, and we just want to win football games, and obviously the main goal is win a national championship. So the guys know what it feels like, and that taste is sweet. So just want to keep winning.
All right. I know that 2 of the games have been struggles this season with, Bemidji State and then Saginaw Valley. What can you take from those losses going into Minnesota Duluth this week, another really good team that you have to face? What do you take from those losses to get you ready this week?
Yeah, I think the major thing is just consistency, especially from the offensive standpoint. I'm sure Coach Berge has said that too, but he's talked about that with us all week, and just being able to compliment our defense. They do a great job, and if they get a stop, then we got to go march down the field and score a touchdown. So that comes first with starting in practice, just being consistent in practice, doing all the little things right, and just compounding days.
All right. I know that Coach Bergstrom has said that the passing game has kind of improved every week from week 1 till now. Do you feel like you're kind of clicking on all cylinders getting ready for Minnesota Duluth?
I definitely feel like our offense is starting to click more, and starting to just get the good feel of things now. And now it's a lot less thinking, and we can just go out there and play. So.
All right. Last question here. As you get ready for Minnesota Duluth, I know you probably watched some film. You're getting ready in practice. What are some of the things that you think you see in Minnesota Duluth's defense that maybe will lead you to victory this week?
Yeah, I think no matter what the defense is just knowing our responsibilities and knowing what to do on each route. And against certain defenses, just going 100% on everything. So I think we can win in the one-on-one games and just catch a lot of footballs, score a lot of touchdowns.
All right. Well, we hope for that as well. Thank you for joining us, and good luck against Minnesota Duluth.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a break on the Warrior Report. When we come back, Cole Stenstrom will join us right after this.
For over 60 years, Russell & Associates has been helping individual and business clients achieve what matters to them. Our trusted advisors have the expertise and experience to help with long-term plans for personal finance, business finance, or wealth management. Focus on what matters most. Call Russell & Associates certified public accountants and advisors today at 507-452-3100 or visit us online at russellcpafirm.com.
Meet Jenny Saseski of Edina Realty. With nearly 30 years' experience, she knows that right now is the best time to sell your home. Jenny will help you get top dollar, higher than ever before. With today's low interest rates, it's time to upgrade your home and increase its value. High demand and low inventory also make this a perfect time to list your home. Call for a free market analysis. Contact Jenny Saseski at Edina Realty today, 507-458-7038.
Food, shelter, fast internet. It's all we really need. Good thing HBC has the fast, reliable internet it takes to power all the Wi-Fi hungry gadgets in your home, all at once. With speeds like these, get smooth HD streaming video, gaming, music, and surfing, all with no waiting, no buffering, no kidding. You want it. You need it. Get it. Call or click hbci.com and upgrade your internet today.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We are brought to you by Russell & Associates, coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. We have the starting quarterback, Cole Stenstrom, joining us here today. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, you're a junior, but you were playing at other places, so let's go back a little bit, and we'll even go back to high school here. Yeah. We talked with Caleb Skelly about what brought him to football, and he said family was a key part in that. And your dad was a linebacker at St. Cloud State. Yeah. So obviously football was in your blood. How did you decide to get into football?
I've always loved football from the start. My football family. Mm-hmm. So my dad kind of got me into football right away, just growing up always. And then just kind of right from the jump from freshman year in high school, fell in love with playing quarterback. And then kind of just, God's led me through a journey where I'm, fortunate enough to play at the collegiate level. And so now just making the most of that opportunity.
All right, let's do one more past question. At Mounds View, you had a great career, 4,000 yards passing. What was maybe one or two of the highlights at Mounds View?
Definitely making the state, making the state playoffs. Yeah. We haven't done that in a while, and so getting there with the group of guys that I grew up with was awesome and a key moment or highlight of all of our lives for sure, because it's you spend a lot of time, hard work on and off the field with your brothers, and so, yeah, that was awesome.
Very good. I'm sure that kind of caught the eye of South Dakota. That's where you started to play. Mm-hmm. What was the decision to go to South Dakota? How did they win out over everybody else?
Yeah, it was the best opportunity for me at the time. South Dakota was a great learning step, and I learned a lot about what college football is like and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I thought it was the best decision for myself and for my family for sure, and it was relatively close. So I like that as well.
All right. At your second year at South Dakota, or right before the second year, they decided to make a change and convert you to a running back. What was that like for you, and how did you enjoy that year at running back?
Well, it was kind of like a mix between running back and quarterback. We had a lot of like wildcat packages where I was in. So I was really playing both positions. So it gave me a new perspective on the game, especially like how, from a protection standpoint, with how to pick up different pressures and stuff like that. So honestly, I saw it as a learning opportunity and trying to make the most of it. And now I see the game differently being in that position. So I think it was just a learning step for sure.
Were you a mobile quarterback? Were you a scrambler before they kind of made you run a little bit more wildcat?
Yeah, I definitely like to run a little bit, and and whenever I get a chance to, I enjoy running. So.
Okay, so you decide to leave South Dakota, and you need to find a place. You find Winona State. How did you find Winona State?
Well, once I went into the portal, I kind of was just looking for the best opportunity and the best opportunity for finding a family. You know, somewhere I feel like I belong. The coaches believe and support in me, and so when Winona State reached out, and I went on my visit, I saw that and kind of just ran for it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it like to come into a room with a whole different set of receivers? You know, Caleb, it's his first year here at Winona State as well. But what's it like to have to learn all of that all over again?
It was definitely, there was definitely a learning phase where I kind of had to take 2 steps back, because it was like I was at South Dakota for 3 years, so I was kind of like the older guy that knew the offense, and now I had to like relearn everything. Like I was a freshman again, so it was good because, you know, kind of Coach Frichte says all the time, going back to your base teachings and fundamentals and kind of just taking a step back. And it actually helped because we all came in at the same time. So learning it together and working through like routes and stuff like that and timing, it was really good because I think we all took a step back and then progressed forward with time.
All right. One of the things we hear from Coach Bergstrom all the time about you is your work ethic and how you're out there all the time. And Caleb was even talking about that during your interview, how you guys did a lot of practices, didn't matter the weather, didn't matter what it was like outside. You guys put some time on the field. For you, where does that work ethic come from?
Really just that that ability to not say I have any regrets. That's a big thing I want in my life, is not to have any regrets. And so I kind of want to go all out and, you know, have no regrets when my college career is over or whatever happens. You know, I just want to put my best foot forward and give myself the best opportunity to be successful and the team to be successful. So hard work it comes from just the ability to say, like, at the end of the day, I put everything I got into this. So. All
right. The game against Northern State was your best game as a Warrior, maybe your best game since high school. What did it feel like to have that success this week?
It was good. It was a lot of preparation and really just going back to the basics and taking a deep breath and really understanding what the defense is trying to do and really just trying to simplify the game upstairs in my head. And so, no, it was good to get the guys and, you know, to get in the win column again.
Did you feel like this was a good kind of get-right game heading into the Duluth week?
Yeah, for sure. You know, any win is awesome, but the way we played on offense, where we kind of found our rhythm, was really good and definitely is a momentum builder forward.
All right, last question. What do you need to do to be successful to get a win against Duluth this week?
I think we just got to do what we did last week and just establish the run game, and then it will open up the pass game. And at the end of the day, we just, whatever play is called, we just got to execute, you know, do my job, the 111th, and everybody else do their job. And if we're 11 for 11, we're going to be successful. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time, and good luck against Duluth this week.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you for watching the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We'll see you next week.